I have felt the impact of technology kind of undermining what I felt like was the importance of the full-length album. I've not been bitter about it, but I've certainly been my middle-aged self and saying, our attention span has been shrinking down to the 6 second, and now it's all tracks and top lines, and there's 18 people writing a song, and that's not art. That's just, and I've kind of let go of that. The toothpaste is out of the tube. You can't put it back in. So I feel like there's room for everything, and to each his own. And for me, this album really pays, I think, great homage to the tradition of album making and all the albums I've loved, all the way back to Mudslide Slim and the Blue Horizon and Tapestry and Rumors and the albums and Let It Bleed and just the things that really set me on a course of wanting to leave my hometown and becoming something.
And I feel like I end up saying it a lot, but I never know how people feel about it. It seems like it should be more creative possibilities should be exciting. The fact that there are different ways to do it, that should be a good thing for an artist. It shouldn't be a bad thing.
Right.
But I don't know that everybody is ready to sign off on that.
Well, I will say that some of the most important songs I've ever written and my favorite songs I've ever written have not been the hits. And had I not made the albums, I wouldn't have those songs. And to put songs out now, I think for them to ever be heard or get played, there has to be some sort of hit value about it. There has to be some sort of mechanism or machine around it. Generally, that dictates a big social media following, which I don't necessarily have, because I don't want my kids to grow up feeling like my face was always in my phone. So I sacrificed that for my quality of life. So there is, for me, it's necessary for all artists, I think, to make albums, because that's where you divulge who you really are on the tracks that aren't so crafted that it's all about, not having somebody turn the radio off while they're listening to your song. And a lot of the big truth-telling on my records were the songs that didn't get played at radio. So I'm grateful for all the albums I've had. I'm grateful for the fact that there was a moment when I got banned at Walmart, my second album, and it totally hurt my album sales. But I look back and think, I stood up for something that I believed in, and I stuck by it. And I read a couple of days ago that Walmart is now going to stop selling guns. And I know I had nothing to do with that, but it's good to have been in the lane of truth telling, to have been on the side of history. And that song, would not have gotten heard had it not been for having a big selling album with If It Makes You Happy on it and Every Day's a Winding Road. So album tracks are important to me. And so we'll see what happens in the future.
But
we'll
there's
see.
there's nothing that says you can't put out 10 songs together now. But you have to have a reason to do it.
Yeah.
I think that's the part that changed, right? I mean, now that's not the only way before it was all or nothing.
Right.
You either had 45 minutes or whatever, or you couldn't put anything out.
Exactly.
Now, if you feel like you need to do that, you can still do it, but it's not mandated.
Exactly. And making this album without a record label, we just signed with Scott Borchetta and Big Machine a few months ago, and to be able to walk in and say, this is the album, it is ostensibly my last album, and have them say, we are so on board and we want to make sure that people know of it and we're going to do as much as we can to get it heard, was exactly what I hoped and dreamt of. But the real beauty in making the album was being liberated from everything and taking my time making a record and not having anybody waiting for an album so that you could put out a song. And there just was none of that. It was just like total kids in a kitchen mixing up some crazy cake, So here it is.